Dust swirled over the vast arena of Varden, turning the sky pale and ghostly. Towering walls made of black volcanic rock rose on all sides. High above, balconies held creatures from dozens of worlds. Some cheered, others watched in icy silence. In the center of this arena stood Queen Alara, her form slim and regal. Her copper skin glowed under the pale sun. Around her neck, a necklace of star-forged metal caught every glint of light. Long ago, Varden had been a peaceful world, but war had come, and the small planet grew strong. Alara led her people through each battle with courage and skill. Now, she sought allies. She sent word across the galaxy. Prove your worth. Win the ancient bio-armor in trial by combat. Join me, and together we will stand against the darkness. Thousands answered her call. Warriors of every shape and size walked through the arena gates. A massive Brulon troll swung a jagged club. Hovering insectoid soldiers buzzed with energy. Silent cloaked figures melted in and out of sight. Yet among these fierce competitors, one figure stood apart. He was human. His armor was sleek and silver, shaped to fit a man's body perfectly. No golden crests or alien symbols marked it. Instead, it bore a single emblem, a simple circle crossed by two lines. His helm hid his face. Under that smooth shell, his eyes watched everything. In his hand, he held a straight blade of dark metal. When the horn sounded, the first duel began. The Brulon troll lumbered forward, roaring. The human did not flinch. He stepped lightly, his blade flashing. In one swift move, he struck the troll's kneecap. The monster collapsed in shock. The crowd gasped. Even hardened veterans fell silent. Alara felt a thrill. She had expected strength, but this human moved with calm control. Between fights, fighters rested in shaded alcoves. Many boasted loudly of past glories. They spoke of ruined planets and vanquished enemies. They boasted of cruelty and conquest. Yet the human sat apart. He tended to wounded fighters, bandaging cuts and offering water. He spoke softly. He did not brag. Queen Alara watched from her throne. She had heard tales of human warriors. They said humans were fierce and proud. But she saw something more in this stranger. In his quiet care for others, she saw honor. In his steady calm, she saw courage. As the sun climbed higher, more duels ended. The human won each fight without killing his foes. He weakened them just enough to prove his skill. When he helped a rival from the ground, the audience roared in approval. It was not often that mercy won applause. Alara leaned forward. She would meet this man behind the armor. She would learn if he was true ally or hidden threat. For now, she would watch. For now, the challenge had only begun. The arena gates opened with a low rumble. Dust rose again as the next challenger entered, a towering Norek gladiator. His 4 arms held spiked clubs, and each movement sent small earthquakes through the sandy ground. The crowd leaned forward, eager for another brutal show. The human stood at the center with calm confidence. He held his dark blade in a simple grip. His stance was relaxed but ready. Queen Alara watched his every move, intrigued by his quiet strength. The Norek charged. 3 clubs swung in unison. The human sidestepped the first strike easily. The second club thudded into the ground, sending rock chips flying. The third whistled past his shoulder. In that moment, the human saw an opening. He pivoted smoothly and slashed across the Norek's forearm. Black blood spurted out, and the creature roared. The crowd gasped in shock. No human had ever wounded a Norek so cleanly. The gladiator rallied, swinging 2 clubs at once. The human blocked with his blade, metal ringing against metal. He felt the force shake his arm, but he did not waver. Alara leaned forward. She had faced many warriors, but this human surprised her with each fight. The human pressed his advantage. He feinted left, then slid under a club and drove his blade into the Norek's knee. The creature fell to one leg, roaring in pain. Instead of striking again, the human stepped back. He kept his blade pointed but lowered just enough to spare the Noric's life. The wounded gladiator sank to one knee, gripping his bleeding leg. He looked up at the human with a mix of rage and awe. The horn sounded, signaling the end of the duel. Silence filled the arena. Then the crowd erupted in cheers and applause. They chanted the human's emblem. Circle line, circle line. The name felt strange yet powerful on their tongues. Alara rose from her throne. She clapped slowly, deliberately. Her voice carried over the noise. This warrior shows skill and mercy. He fights not to kill, but to prove strength. Her words echoed in the arena. The human bowed his head slightly in respect. He did not raise his voice or revel in praise. He walked off the sand toward the healing tents. Along the way, other fighters stared at his back, whispering in fear and respect. They had seen that mercy was mightier than cruelty. In the tents, wounded challengers received care. Often, medics rushed in only to find the human already tending to the injured. He wrapped bandages over deep cuts and applied soothing salves. He spoke softly, asking about pain and offering water. A young insectoid soldier trembled as the human approached. His many eyes were wide with fear. The human knelt and offered him a drink. He said, "You fought well. Rest now." The soldier nodded and drank gratefully. In a quiet corner, Alara watched him serve others. She saw the respect he earned without a word. She wondered about his past. What drove a man to fight so fiercely yet show such kindness? As the sun began to set, the human stood alone by the arena wall. His blade rested on his shoulder. He looked up at the darkening sky, then turned and disappeared through a side gate. Alara whispered to herself, "I must know the man behind the armor." She tapped her scepter, and a royal herald summoned her closest guard. The queen's voice was firm. "Find him. Bring him to me." The guard bowed and hurried away. The challenge had reached a new stage. The true test would soon begin. Late that evening, the arena grounds were empty and silent. Only the glow of torches lit the winding paths. The human walked slowly toward the royal pavilion. His armor bore fresh scratches, and traces of blood stained his blade. Yet his steps were calm, unhurried. Queen Alara sat before a low table littered with glowing crystals and maps of star systems. Her guard stood at attention behind her. When the human appeared, she rose gracefully from her seat. "Warrior," she called, voice soft but firm. "You have proven skill and mercy. Yet I wonder what calls you to this trial." The human paused, then knelt on one knee. He removed his helm, revealing a face marked by a single scar across his left cheek. His dark eyes held steady as he answered. "I fight to protect my home," he said in clear, simple English. "Our world is small. We lack allies. I came here to earn your trust." Alara studied him. She sensed no lies. His words carried weight because he spoke little that meant all he said. "Walk with me," she said. Guards moved aside, and she led him through the pavilion gardens. Strange alien flowers glowed under the torches. Gentle breezes carried unfamiliar scents. They passed wounded fighters resting on soft mats. A human medic dressed a cut on a reptilian warrior's arm. The human nodded politely at the medic and offered a nod to the injured fighter. Alara observed as he knelt and spoke kindly to the reptilian warrior in broken reptile tongue. He bandaged the wound with careful hands. The injured fighter's scales fluttered in relief, and he whispered thanks. The queen felt surprise and warmth. She said, "You speak their tongue." He stood and replied, "I learn. To lead, I must understand." They continued walking. Alara felt a strange calm in his presence. Most warriors sought glory, yet this human sought connection. They reached a small fountain at the garden center. Water shimmered over smooth stones. Alara sat on the fountain's edge. The human remained standing, sword sheathed. "Tell me of your world," she invited. He glanced at the water before answering. "Earth is old and full of life. We learn from each other. We grow stronger together. Alara recalled her own court. She thought of the nobles who chased power alone. She saw in him a new path, one where strength came from unity. A sudden cry echoed nearby. A young alien child chased a wounded bird creature, tears in her eyes. The creature limped, its wing broken. Without hesitation, the human moved toward them. He knelt and gently scooped the bird into his arms. The child watched in awe. He spoke softly to calm the creature, then wrapped its wing in cloth from his cloak. The child ran forward and hugged him. The human smiled, a rare warmth beneath his armor. Alara felt her heart stir. She stood and placed a hand on his shoulder. You heal as much as you fight. He bowed his head. I believe mercy honors strength. Alara nodded, her decision clear. She would test him further. But for now, she felt a bond forming. An alliance not of power, but of shared respect. In the quiet garden, under alien stars, queen and warrior walked side by side, bound by trust and a promise of what might come. Morning light filtered through violet leaves in the royal gardens. Queen Alara and her guards gathered for a council meeting. Noble ambassadors from distant worlds stood around a large stone table. They wore bright silks and heavy metals. Their faces showed hope or fear. At the sight of the human warrior's emblem carved on a small plaque in front of Alara's seat, Alara cleared her throat. Honored guests, our new ally has proven strength and mercy. Soon, we will form a grand alliance. She paused, glancing at the empty seat beside her. He will join us shortly. A tense murmur ran through the room. Some ambassadors exchanged uneasy looks. A tall reptilian noble hissed softly to his neighbor, "Can we trust a human?" Alara noticed their doubt. She raised a hand. He carries no secret blade. His actions speak true. Another noble, the insectoid ambassador, clicked her mandibles. My scouts report he spoke kindly to our wounded. Yet, I sensed something hidden. Alara's chest tightened. She faced the room. Trust is our shield. Without it, we fracture. A door opened. 2 royal guards escorted the human into the chamber. He knelt before Alara, helm in hand. His scared face was calm, but his dark eyes showed fatigue. Alara smiled. Rise, warrior. These are our allies. He stood and bowed to the ambassadors. I honor your courage. His voice was quiet but strong. The reptilian noble leaned forward. Human, you fought well. But why hide your face? Why wear that helm? The human placed the helm on the table. I wore it so you would see my deeds, not my face. I sought respect for my actions alone. A silence fell. The ambassadors studied him. Some nodded slowly. Others remained unconvinced. Suddenly, the insectoid ambassador clacked her wings and spoke. Yet secrets linger. Our spies tell of a hidden weapon, an Earth superweapon. Are you its envoy? The human's eyes narrowed. He kept his voice calm. Earth has weapons, but I serve only peace. I came alone, without armies. A guard stepped forward. Your Highness, enemies threaten from within. They spread lies to divide us. Alara rose. She faced the ambassadors with regal grace. We must not let doubt shatter our unity. If any here truly fears him, step forward now. The room remained still. At last, the reptilian noble spoke. I accept your word, human, but time will prove us right or wrong. Alara nodded. So it shall be. She turned to the human. Your next trial begins at dusk. Face the final guardian of the armor. The human inclined his head. I am ready. As he left the chamber, Alara watched him go. Doubt had entered her court, but her trust in him had not wavered. Later, she walked alone through the gardens. Shadows lengthened under the violet leaves. She wondered which voices in her court spoke truth, and which spoke lies. Could she protect her alliances? Could she protect the man she now believed in? Night approached with a cool breeze. Queen Alara touched the emblem on her pendant. She whispered, I will guard our bond. no matter the cost. Under alien skies, a queen prepared to stand against shadows of doubt, because she had chosen to trust the man behind the armor. The sun dipped low on Varden's horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. In the northern reaches of the palace grounds lay the Hall of Trials. Its entrance was carved from white stone, and ancient runes glowed softly at its arch. Guards lined the path, their spears held at attention. Queen Alara walked beside the human warrior, her long cloak trailed behind her. The warrior carried only his dark blade. His armor had fresh dents from the day's earlier fights. He walked with measured steps, eyes alert. Alara spoke quietly. "Beyond these doors lies your final test. It will measure heart as much as skill." The warrior nodded. "I understand." They entered the hall. Inside, torches flickered along marble walls. The floor was smooth and empty except for a lone pedestal in the center. Resting upon it was a small, glowing orb. Runes on the walls pulsed in rhythm. Alara raised her voice. "To prove your loyalty, you must take the orb." She pointed at shadows that shifted around them. "But be warned, not all is as it seems." From the darkness, silent figures emerged. They wore cloaks similar to the warriors but with no emblem. Their helms hid their faces. They circled slowly, blades drawn. The warrior stepped forward. His hand hovered over his sword hilt. He studied each cloaked figure. They moved like hunters. The air crackled. Suddenly, one cloaked figure lunged. The warrior parried and disarmed him with a swift strike. The figure crumpled but rose again, unhurt. The warrior realized these foes would not bleed. Alara observed, arms folded. She remained silent as the warrior fought each phantom. Each strike dispersed the shadow, but did not end it. The warrior's strength and skill were clear, but the figures returned relentlessly. After several minutes, the warrior paused, breathing steadily. He looked at the orb. Shadows danced between him and the pedestal. He sheathed his blade and stepped forward, hands open. The cloaked figures pressed closer, their cold blades aimed at him. The crowd of shadows blocked his path. He did not fight. He took one slow step, then another. One phantom raised its blade. The warrior spoke softly. "I come in peace." He reached out his hand. The shadows hesitated. The rungs on the walls brightened. The figures lowered their blades. At the pedestal, the warrior paused. He bowed his head and whispered a simple phrase in an alien tongue. "I serve truth." Then he lifted the orb. Light flooded the hall. The shadows faded like mist. The runes glowed brightly, then dimmed. Alara clapped slowly. "You have passed." Her voice rang clear. "Strength wins battles. Mercy wins hearts. And you have both." The warrior bowed. He held the orb gently. The glow reflected in his dark eyes. Outside the hall, the night sky twinkled with distant stars. Alara placed a hand on the warrior's shoulder. "You have earned your place by my side." The warrior nodded, humbled. Together, they stepped back into the moonlit courtyard. The final test was over, but the greatest trials lay ahead, for both Queen and the man behind the armor. Dawn broke over the palace, pastel lights spilling across marble floors. Queen Alara and the human warrior stood before her royal court. Nobles and ambassadors filled the grand hall, their eyes fixed on the raised dais. All waited to witness the final moment of the trial. Alara held the glowing orb in one hand. "Today," she announced, voice clear and strong, "we learn who fights for us in truth." She turned to the warrior. "Remove your helm and stand before your allies." The human nodded. He reached up and lifted the silver helm away. Gasps echoed through the hall. Beneath the smooth metal, his face was revealed, human features marked by a scar across his left cheek, and deep, honest eyes. For a moment, silence reigned. Queen Alara spoke softly. "Let no barrier hide your heart." She placed the orb on a pedestal. Its light dimmed but still pulsed softly. From the crowd came murmurs. Some faces showed shock. Others wore relief. The insectoid ambassador clicked her mandibles in approval, and the reptilian noble bowed his head respectfully. The human stepped forward, blade at his side, unarmed but unafraid. Alara raised her hand. "Speak to them." The warrior cleared his throat. "I am Captain Marcus Hale of Earth's Defense Fleet," he said in calm tones. "I came here not to conquer, but to seek alliance. My home faces a threat from the Void Legion, a force that intends to destroy worlds. I fought in this arena to prove my honor and earn your trust." A wave of reaction swept the court. The Void Legion was known across the galaxy for its cruelty. Alara's eyes hardened at his words. "Your people suffer," she said gently. "And so do ours." An ambassador stepped forward, her tentacles trembling with emotion. "We witnessed your mercy. You spared our champions. You healed our wounded." Her voice clicked with gratitude. "You are not just a warrior. You are a guardian." Alara nodded. "Marcus Hale has shown what humanity can be. Strong, yet kind. Brave, yet merciful." She turned to the assembled court. "Will you stand with us against the Void Legion?" Silence fell as each delegate considered. Then, one by one, they rose. The insectoid ambassador clicked twice and bowed. The reptilian noble lifted his staff in salute. Even the silent, cloaked figures who once tested Marcus now removed their helms, revealing diverse faces of alien races, each pledging their support. Alara smiled, hope shining in her copper skin. She stepped down from the dais and offered her hand to Marcus. He accepted it, and together they raised it high. The court erupted in cheers. Outside, the sky blazed with the morning light. Messengers rushed to send word to distant systems that a new alliance had formed. On Earth, humans prepared for war with renewed strength, knowing they had noble allies at their side. Queen Alara climbed her throne once more, Marcus standing at her side. She whispered, "I never expected to know the man behind the armor, but I am grateful I did." Marcus bowed his head, "And I never expected to find a queen who valued mercy above victory. Together, we will protect our worlds." As the two leaders looked out over their united forces, a new chapter began, one where hope and honor guided them into the coming battle. Weeks passed since the alliance ceremony. Queen Alara's palace buzzed with new activity. Alien ships landed in the royal docks. Human vessels waited alongside them. Soldiers trained together on wide fields, learning each other's tactics. In the grand strategy room, Alara and Captain Marcus Hale studied star charts. Holographic lines showed Void Legion movements, dark fingers stretching across space. "Our scouts report their fleet will strike the Harkin cluster next," Marcus explained. He tapped a glowing dot. "If they break through there, they will threaten the inner worlds." Alara nodded, concern in her copper eyes. "We must unite our forces swiftly." Outside the room, ambassadors and officers gathered. Humans taught aliens how to maintain powered armor. Alien engineers showed human crews how to repair starships with crystal conduits. Laughter echoed among ranks as cultures mixed in peaceful work. Yet some old wounds remained. In a quiet corridor, Alara walked with a grizzled veteran from her own world. He served her father during the last Great War. "Your Highness," he began, voice low and gravelly, "I worry about this human. My kin died under orders from our Queen's Grand Alliance decades ago." Alara listened, but did not reply. She understood his pain. The past held many tragedies, yet she believed in Marcus's honor. That evening, Alara invited Marcus to dinner in the palace gardens. Lanterns hung from curved branches, casting soft light on marble tables. Alien fruits and human dishes sat side by side. They dined quietly. Marcus tasted a spiced fruit and smiled. "This is unlike anything on Earth." Alara laughed softly. "Try the starflower tea. It soothes the mind." He sipped and closed his eyes. Peaceful. She watched him, thinking of the battles he had fought. She remembered how he had tended to her wounded friends. In his calm presence, she felt hope. Their talk turned to memories. Marcus spoke of Earth's green forests and blue oceans. Elara told of Varden's glowing lakes and crystal spires. Each story deepened their bond. Suddenly, alarms sounded. Guards rushed past, shouting orders. Elara and Marcus raced to the war room, where a hologram showed Void Legion ships moving faster than predicted. They launch a surprise strike on Falgorn Station, Marcus said, jaw tight. They hope to break our supply lines. Elara straightened. Then we will meet them at Falgorn, gather our fleet. As they prepared to depart, the old veteran approached. His eyes met Marcus's. He saw the human's steady gaze and remembered the mercy Marcus showed in the arena. The veteran bowed deeply. I misjudged you, Captain, he said. May we fight together in honor. Marcus nodded and clasped the veteran's gauntlet. For victory. Outside the palace, Allied ships formed a line beneath twin moons. Humans and aliens stood side by side on the decks, united by trust. Elara and Marcus boarded the lead cruiser. She placed a hand on his arm. Together, we will face the Void Legion. He met her gaze. Together. As the fleet launched into the starry sky, new ties forged in old wars held strong. The coming battle would test them all, but they would stand as one. The Allied fleet glided through space toward Falgorn Station. Human cruisers bristled with weapons, while alien vessels shimmered with crystal shields. Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the lead cruiser. Queen Elara joined him, her copper skin glowing under the soft red alert lights. Enemy ships detected ahead, the tactical officer reported. A cluster of Void Legion destroyers appeared on the view screen. Their black hulls bristled with hidden weapons. Elara's eyes narrowed. They aimed to ambush us before we reached the station. She turned to Marcus. Your strategy? Marcus studied the enemy pattern. We divide our fleet. Humans draw them in. Alien ships flank from above. He pointed at two groups on the screen. This way, we trap them between our forces. Elara nodded. Make it so. Moments later, the human cruisers surged forward like steel sharks. Void Legion destroyers opened fire, stars flashing as weapons struck shields. Marcus remained calm, issuing orders in clear, simple words. Red Squad, engage on my mark. Blue Squad, prepare flank. Alien ships slipped above and below the enemy line. Their crystal shields glowed bright. With a sudden shift, they fired concentrated beams, forcing the destroyers to split their focus. On the bridge, alarms blared as blasts struck near human ships. One cruiser lurched, sparks flying from its hull. Crew members steadied consoles. Fear flickered in their eyes. But Marcus's steady voice cut through the chaos. Hold steady. We have them. Queen Elara watched him, pride swelling. This human led with calm strength, just as in the arena. Side by side, they fought as equals. The flank struck hard. Alien weapons pierced destroyer shields, and human missiles smashed through weakened armor. One by one, Void Legion ships exploded in silent fire. The Allied fleet pressed on. Yet a new threat emerged. From the enemy flagship, a massive energy pulse shot toward Falgorn Station. Elara gasped. That pulse will overload the station's core. Marcus's jaw tightened. We must stop it. He turned to the weapons officer. Fire the interceptor cannon. The officer nodded and initiated the countermeasure. A slender beam shot from the cruiser's bow, racing through space. It struck the energy pulse mid-flight. Sparks and light burst in the void as the beam shattered the pulse into harmless fragments. The station's image on the view screen stabilized. Its lights glowed steady once more. A cheer rose from the bridge crew. Elara placed a hand on Marcus's arm. You saved them. Marcus nodded, relief in his eyes. We save each other. Below deck, injured soldiers tended to by human and alien medics found hope in the news. They heard the fleet's victory and the station's safety. Together, They knelt in thanks to their leaders. As the Allied ships entered orbit around Falgorn Station, Alara sent a transmission to the station commander. "We stand with you. The threat is gone." The station commander's voice crackled back. "Thank you, Queen Alara and Captain Hale. We owe you our lives." Alara and Marcus exchanged a look of quiet triumph. The threat had been fierce, but their unity had triumphed. That night, on the station's observation deck, Alara and Marcus stood beneath stars unseen on Varden. They looked at distant galaxies, knowing the war was far from over. But for this moment, they vowed to defend their alliance with courage and mercy. In the vast silence of space, a queen and a warrior stood together, ready for whatever came next. After the battle at Falgorn Station, the Allied fleet regrouped in a safe zone of space. Ships from human and alien worlds floated side by side, hulls bearing fresh scars. Smoke trailed from some wounded vessels, but repairs had already begun. On the bridge of the lead cruiser, Queen Alara and Captain Marcus Hale met in a solemn council. Holographic displays showed the Void Legion retreating, their dark fleet broken. Messages of victory arrived from nearby systems. Alara spoke first, voice steady. "The Void Legion has faltered thanks to our unity. Their fear of our alliance will spread across the galaxy." Marcus nodded. "They will rebuild, but trust between our worlds is stronger now." Alara tapped a control, and a roster of officers appeared. "We lost brave souls today. We must honor them." She selected names one by one, human and alien, so that each would receive proper tribute. Later, on the station's memorial deck, crews gathered around glowing plaques. Holograms of fallen heroes, both human and alien, flickered above each name. Alara and Marcus stood side by side before the largest plaque, bearing the emblem of their new alliance. Alara placed a single white flower at the base. Marcus bowed his head. They shared a moment of silence, honoring sacrifice and courage. After the ceremony, in the quiet of the station's garden dome, Marcus turned to Alara. His gaze was thoughtful. "My mission is nearly complete. I have earned your trust and formed an alliance." Alara watched his scared cheek in the soft light. "You have done more than that. You have changed hearts." Marcus sighed softly. "Now I must choose my path. I can return to Earth with honor, or remain by your side to build this alliance." Alara's heart beat faster. She had hoped he would stay. Yet she did not press him. "Your choice is yours alone," she said gently. "I trust you, whatever you decide." They walked among alien trees that glowed under the station's artificial sky. Bioluminescent petals fell like soft rain. Marcus picked up one petal and studied it. "On Earth, I had a life, a family, friends. I fought to protect them." He closed his eyes. "But here, I found purpose beyond my world." Alara reached out and brushed a lock of dark hair from his forehead. "Your home will always be your world, but you will always have a place here." He opened his dark eyes and met hers. "I never thought I'd find a new home among the stars." Alara felt warmth spread through her. "Then choose wisely." Marcus took a steady breath. He looked at the distant horizon of space visible through the dome. Twinkling stars promised unknown adventures. He turned back to Alara and smiled. "I choose both," he said softly. "I will return to Earth to secure our home, then come back here to stand with you." Alara's eyes shone with gratitude. "Then we have more work ahead." They clasped hands, their bond sealed by choice. Around them, the alliance moved forward, repairing ships, healing worlds, and building a future together. As the stars glittered above, the Queen and her champion prepared for the next chapter of their shared destiny. Early morning light filtered through Falgorn Station's transparent dome. Captain Marcus Hale stood at a viewing deck, watching human ships prepare for departure. Below, technicians loaded supplies and repaired hulls. Soon, his mission on Varden would pause as he returned to Earth. Queen Alara approached, her copper skin bright in the soft glow. She carried a simple silver pendant shaped like the Alliance emblem. Marcus turned and smiled at her. "You leave soon," she said quietly. He nodded. "I must warn Earth of the Legion's threat. They need time to ready their defenses." Alara offered the pendant. "Take this. Wear it as a reminder of our bond." Marcus accepted and fastened the chain around his neck. The emblem rested over his heart. He looked at the Queen. "Thank you for your trust." She placed a hand on his arm. "Thank you for your courage and mercy. You have shown us what true strength means." A gentle breeze stirred in the dome. Bioluminescent vines waved like silent dancers. The memory of past battles felt distant here. Marcus drew a deep breath. "Will our worlds stand together after I leave?" Alara's dark eyes shone with conviction. "We will. Our alliance is more than ships and soldiers. It is hope. It will endure." He stared at the horizon where distant stars met the station balls. "I will return as soon as I can." Alara offered a small laugh. "I will be waiting." A klaxon sounded. The transport shuttle was ready. Marcus straightened his uniform. He gave Alara a firm bow. "Until we meet again, Your Majesty." She inclined her head. "Safe travels, Captain Hale." They walked together to the shuttle's ramp. Soldiers from many worlds lined the walkway, saluting as Marcus passed. Some cheered, others clicked mandibles or bowed. He raised his hand in farewell. Once inside, he turned to look at Alara one last time. She stood tall, her gaze steady and proud. He felt a surge of gratitude and hope. The shuttle doors closed. Engines hummed. The vessel lifted from the landing pad. Through the viewports, Marcus watched the station grow smaller. He held the pendant in his hand and whispered, "We will stand together." Outside, stars awaited. The shuttle slipped into space, heading toward Earth. Marcus prepared to deliver the warning and call for unity. Back on Falgorn Station, Queen Alara stood at the edge of the dome, watching the shuttle disappear. She touched the spot on her chest, where her own Alliance emblem hung. "A new dawn rises," she murmured, "and with it, a brighter future." Beyond the station, ships from allied worlds joined in formation. They set course back to Varden, ready to defend their home and the bond they had forged. In the vast galaxy, the promise of unity shone like a beacon, guided by a queen's trust and a warrior's honor. A new dawn had come, and together, they would face whatever challenges awaited.